I'm Scott Thuman, and there are several new developments that have escalated the federal takeover in D.C., including some very threatening words from President Trump when it comes to Mayor Bowser's position of leadership. You'll hear what he said in just a moment, but we're going to begin with the news that the National Guard is authorized to carry weapons around the city. This applies to both members of the D.C. National Guard and the 6 states who have deployed troops here. 7 News' Felicia Ashley has the details and reaction from the community.
The update coming today from the Pentagon, telling 7 News that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth made the order. Mayor Bowser doesn't support it.
I don't think you have an armed militia in the nation's capital.
President Donald Trump spoke to some of the troops in Southeast D.C. the night before the announcement.
You got to be strong, you got to be tough, you got to do your job. Whatever it takes to do your job, you got to do your job.
This afternoon, he spoke to people who live and work in areas where we've seen the most troops so far.
I mean, as long as D.C. authorities give them permission to be armed in their city, I guess it's okay. I mean, I can't make the call, you know. I mean, if that helps makes the city safer, let's do it.
That's really weird. That's really freaky. That's messed up.
Now that the 2,000 troops currently in D.C. will be armed, I asked the White House and Pentagon if there'll be a change in their rules of engagement. The Pentagon said it had nothing to add. We're still pushing to learn from the White House as well as the Department of Defense where the troops will be across D.C. and the reason for now arming them while they're on patrol. For now, reporting from Union Station, Felicia Ashley, 7.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God, by the way. Bahashem, which means in the name. Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation, and that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus. By the way, He is a so-called black man and only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, what we have here in the latest development is the National Guards that were deployed to the national capital, the state capital, should I say, Washington, D.C., have now been empowered to carry firearms, okay? Now, we have to ask ourselves, what's the play, okay? Because it has to be bigger than what is actually being, publicized, okay? They must be being put in place for a specific reason. All right. One would ascertain that it has to be bigger than fighting crime. All right. Because you would think that the local police could do that on their own. So what are they putting these National Guards in places like DC? And now Trump wants to put them in other quote unquote democratic cities like Maryland, New York, and other things of that magnitude. Because why? Something potentially big could be coming down the pike, okay? That could really rock or shake the foundations of this place, all right? Whether it's the release of the Epstein files that could send the stock market into a downward spiral and cause all type of chaos, crashing the dollar, and people marauding and rioting and things of that nature, they can already have these guards into place. And now you have to remember under the DOD Executive Order 5240.1, they can engage the citizens with legal force, okay? With legal live ammo, all right? So everything is being put into place for what? The takeover, okay? Bringing in or ushering in the New World Order, all right? So this is where we at, okay? We're going to read this article, and then we're going to get a few precepts. So in this article, we're going to go down to this paragraph right here specifically, okay? What is it? National Guard members deployed to D.C. started carrying sidearms. Sunday, a spokesperson for the Joint Task Force carrying out the mission told CNN. So now they are now they are equipped. Okay, in the beginning, it was just their presence alone. Okay, but now I guess through recent development, and especially after Trump said if they spit on you, you can knock them back. I guess he's empowering them to what? As we're going to read in this little article, this paragraph right here, to defend themselves. Okay, from who? All right, we know it. It's Jake. All right, this is why they being brought into place, man. All right, because Jake, they're gonna use this to what? Further propel their mission to get rid of you 2/3, man. All right. So it says National Guard members deployed to DC started carrying sidearms Sunday, which was yesterday. Today is Monday. A spokesperson for the Joint Task Force carrying out the mission told CNN. A release from Joint Task Force DC on Sunday said Hegseth directed Guard members to carry their assigned weapons. A U.S. official told CNN on Monday that some troops will carry M4 rifles. All right? What do you need M4 rifles for? Okay? For when all hell breaks loose. All right? When you got people that's marauding, that's going through people's houses, stores, and things of that magnitude, they're going to have to keep everybody in check. All right? And you're only going to be able to come in certain towns and cities if you have the proper credentials. All right. We've seen it on that movie, Civil War. Okay. The stage is being set. All right. When the one dude asks the people, what type of Americans are you? All right. It's finna be to that extent. Well, probably not to that full extent, but to that extent, nevertheless. Hey, you're going to have to prove, hey, I belong here and this is where I stay. This is my town. This is my city. This is my neighborhood. All right. Because they're going to be monitoring who comes and who goes. All right. This is why the ICE task force was set up. All right. To check and see whether or not you have proper identity. All right. This is all being put into place because why? They're going to eventually transition into all digital. Okay. And they know the people are going to meet them with what? With force. Okay. Especially in these so-called Democratic ran states. All right. When you got a vast majority of the population where Jake inhabitants. Okay. So it says a U.S. official told CNN on Monday that some troops would carry M4 rifles as their primary weapon. Whereas military police, for example, primarily use a M14 handgun. A Joint Task Force spokesperson said the troops are authorized to use their firearms for personal protection only, meaning self-defense and not for policing. Hey, what happened to the conspiracy theories that said that Executive Order DOD 5240.1 wasn't to engage the people and use live ammo or live rounds? Well, here it is. We hearing it right here that these National Guard that's being deployed can use their M14s for self-defense. Okay? Forget the policing, self-defense. All right? And hey, Trump's been setting the way to where they can get pro bono and have a lawyer to defend them in the case that they have to use they weapon in self-defense. Okay? And you got to ask yourself, a 2/3 Jake, they don't know anything about the law, man. And especially if they from the hood, they don't have no money to get a good attorney. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win. All right? You don't know nothing about the law. We got the law on our side, and we got one less ninja on the streets of DC, on the streets of Baltimore, on the streets of Chicago, on the streets of New York. You see, this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath, man. All right? Because he knows he has but a short time. See, and we're blowing the trumpet in Zion. Unlike other Israelites that's using this time to self-promote, go on shows, do debates, we're actually blowing the trumpet in Zion, even if it sounds repetitively. We're blowing the trumpet, man, because this is serious. These are serious times we're coming into, where whether or not you can debate with somebody or go on a TV show ain't gonna matter, man. Okay? The people want to know what's coming, how do I get myself together, and what do I need to be prepared for? Not who got the best, breakdown and who can go into this verse and debate and use big words. And no, man. Okay? We in the time of prophecy, man. Blowing the trumpet. Sounding the horn in Zion. Okay? Let's open up with that actually. This is Joel 2 and verse 1. It reads, blow ye the trumpet in Zion. See, and how are you blowing the trumpet in Zion? Well, if you are a prophet, you're supposed to be out here prophesying, preaching, all right? Telling the people, hey, do what's right and repent because there's danger that's coming. And we are in the beginning stages. These National Guards aren't going anywhere. They got an agenda to achieve by 2030. It's called Agenda 2030, man. How you think they're going to get there when they know they're going to have resistance? Unless they already put the provisions in place for when that resistance happens. Okay? It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Who is the holy mountain? The Israelites. We supposed to be out here warning the people, all right, of impending danger. This ain't just to be looked over and glossed over. We see something that's potentially dangerous to the flock, to the sheep. We have to blow that trumpet. We have to sound that alarm. And then if they don't take heed, fine. It's okay. The blood is off our hands, okay? It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh or close at hand. All right? So we telling you, hey, Jacob's trouble is around the corner. Jacob's trouble is going to usher in the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is going to signify the end of this man's rulership. America will be destroyed by the way of World War III and missiles and ultimately the chariots and Yahushua returning. Okay? It's going to spell the end of this man's rulership and the beginning of ours forever. Okay? This is the gospel. This is the good news. Okay? And we're blowing the trumpet and we're telling you. All right? But before we can get there, we're going to have to be what? Tried as fire, as gold is tried in the fire, man. And if you ain't ready to be prepared to get tried in that fire, the adversity, then you're going to get left behind, man. It's just that simple. Okay? The Lord is using this man, Esau, Edom, to purify or to purge out the impurities of our people, man. All right? And it's getting ready to go down. Whether you want to accept it or not, okay? We just here to tell you that the Lord dealing with you here, open up your eyes where you can see and your ears where you can hear and your mind where you can understand, and you will get the warning and take heed and do what's required in this and that's necessary of you. But if not, you'll continue to be a 2/3 J, caught up in debates, caught up in the podcast shows, looking for some type of entertainment and thrill from this ministry, from this truth. Okay? That's worldly things, man. This is serious. This is dire. All right? This truth isn't meant to be mirth and meant to be made mockery and meant to, use as games. Okay? This truth is meant to what? Give you a message, tell you to get right, tell you that there's danger coming, tell you that your life is on the line, and what does it require from you to have and be shown favor from Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? This is it, all right? And we're supposed to be warning our people. being in season and out of season, warning them. When it ain't popular, when it's popular all year long. Warn the people. Warn the people. They can't get enough of warning. Our people are stiff-necked, hard-headed. The scriptures say that. So you got to drill it in their head, man. See if I can get that word. And Adam. Let me see. Maybe this is a word. Flint. This is Ezekiel 3. And 6, it says, not too many people of a strange speech and of a hard language whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. See? So the Lord would have sent us to give the message to Moab or to Ham or someone else that they the Israelites and that the Lord is getting ready to bring forth judgment to this earth. They would have took the heed. It says, but what? But the house of Israel would not hearken unto thee. Why? For they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. This is why we have to continually beat this message into their head, man. Until they wake up. Those that are destined to wake up to this truth. It says, behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. See? So although it seems like we just out here wasting our breath, you know, putting it on repeat, we got to do it, man, because we know that Israel is hard-headed, man. And see, they ain't going to get it until they get it, and it's going to be too late. But by that time, they ain't going to have no excuse. See, the Lord is setting the stage for when he brings judgment, you won't have any excuse. You won't have any cloaks for your sins, no excuses. Because why? He set his servants, the prophets, up to repeatedly tell you these things. When they didn't seem popular, when it seems like it was all right to go on a show or do a podcast or do debates, he had a pocket of his prophets that was still preaching the word and telling you. But see, it wasn't popular to you because why? They didn't give you the sensationalism that you was looking for. The, oh, I got you moment. The, oh, yeah, the ooh and the ah, okay? They were just giving you the prophecies and to give you the warnings. But see, to you, that was unhip. That wasn't cool. But to the Lord, that was him telling you, man, tighten up, okay? Tighten up. I'm getting ready to do what I said I was going to do. See? Just went into it early this morning. When prophecy fails, when knowledge fails, charity is going to prevail, man. This is the Lord giving you the what? The freedom, the rights to salvation if you would just listen to the prophets that he set up, his servants. Okay? This is the Lord showing you charity through his servants, the prophets, because he doesn't owe any of us this. All right? As it says in John, he can raise up stones to Abraham. All right? We just here, man. And we telling you, this devil is getting ready to make a move, whether you believe it or not. All right? Get your houses and get your houses and affairs in order, man. Make sure you're right with the Lord. All right? Make sure you're doing what's required of you, daily. All right? Because, hey, once this devil is here, he's here. He ain't turning back, man. Okay? We're too close to the end for him to retract statements and orders and executive orders back. He's already got executive orders. And I know the acronym TACO Trump always chicken out, but all it's going to take is one of these things to go through. And we here. Let's see. He's trying to say he's going to deploy National Guards next month to Chicago. Well, we shall see. Okay? Lord willing. All right? It just escalates. Abaratazah, Father will. Okay? To the point where, hey, we here. Okay? National Guards, military presence, armed to the T, M14s, setting up, because all they doing is setting up shop right now. They just using the crime syndicate as a facade, as a smokescreen, but they're actually setting up shop for when all hell breaks loose, for when they are monitoring provisions in the cities and the neighborhoods where we stay at. The crime is just the excuse to get them in. Once they in, they good now. Then the stage crisis can take place. Little bit of food in your neighborhood, at your Walmart, your grocery stores. Now they got a heavy presence of M14s monitoring the not the checkout lines, but the doors that go inside. Because they know in that time, people are going to be, uncivil, okay? And the only way you're going to get your food and whatever else is if you have that microchip. And these guards, these soldiers, make no mistake about it, they're going to have the chip, okay? And they're going to monitor who has it. And if you don't, you can't come inside the store. And if you try to overpower them and come inside the store, well, guess what? Pop, pop, M14. However many rounds it takes to put you down. Okay? This is the plan. All right? This is the play they put into place right now as we speak. Okay? So it says, as an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. See? So we understand our people, man. Hey, sometimes we feel like saying F them, man. They ain't gonna get it. But guess what? We got to do what's required from us and continue to preach this. All right? Continue to see something, say something, okay? We see something, we say something, even if it's not popular. We put it out there. Whoever ears it may need to fall on, or eyes need to see, or heart that has to have a chance to understand it, it will. Okay? As it says in Acts 3, Acts 3. Acts 3. It's like it, 1 Corinthians 3. This is 1 Corinthians 3 and 6. It reads, I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. See? So all we doing as laborers is watering and planting, but it's going to be the Most High that gives the increase, okay? So we just here to what? Preach the word. And whoever ears the seed fall onto, because there's a parable that Yahweh Shai gave what is the parable called? The seed, the parable of the seed, the sower, okay? We're just sowing the word, man. Wherever the Lord see forfeit for this seed to, nourish in that person's heart, his mind, and get the understanding, that's where it's going to go. All right? We're just here telling you the word, okay? And we're telling you that this is the time that we're getting ready to come into Jacob's trouble, all right? The play is being put into motion. They're putting troops specifically in these states that's ran by Democrats because they know vast majority of Jake's stay there that don't have any understanding of what's coming, okay? This is the book of Ezekiel. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. This is Ezekiel 7:15. It reads, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. See? So there's coming a famine and a pestilence within the cities. All right? Because why? They're going to deliberately choke out certain cities where they know Jake is prevalent at to what? Bring in the sword. Okay? Now, we don't have no choice but to use lethal force or live rounds because why? Jake is out of control, man. And they set the stage because why? They've monitored and controlled the flow of the traffic which comes and going, that being whether it's the trucks that bring in the food, whatever, okay? They got that under control, okay? So now your neighborhood may not have a truck to bring in food for another week or two. So now what are you going to do in that week or two? More crime is going to ensue, okay? And this is what they put into place. It says, he that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them all, but they that escape of them shall escape and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. See? But those of us that escape, we gonna understand, all right, that why we made it out of here, but we should have been part of that. Okay, because why? We sinned. Our iniquity was, but see, we understand. We took heed in this time that we was given, and we made the most of it. We repented and we sought after Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. But see, these 2/3, man, they love the sensationalism. They love to sit in the synagogues with high seats, praising and lauding themselves. All right, little do they know, man, that ain't gonna get you in the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, if you're not of the elect, you ain't coming out of here alive, man. Speaking of America, the United States of America, it's just that simple, okay? So the stage is being set. The troops are now being equipped with quote-unquote self-defense weapons, okay? But those self-defense weapons are going to be used, they saying, not as policing, but, hey, during martial law, that's exactly what it's going to be used for, all right? It ain't being used as policing as of now, all right? But we going to see exactly how things turn, all right? Lord willing, they go for the worst, man, for this kingdom, this society, these people, these Americans, these Babylonians, these Egyptians, all right? Because, hey, like it says, how long will you simple ones love simplicity, okay? See, Jacob loved the simplicity, the simplicity of this world forever, man. And the scorner's delight. All right? This is what they want. They man, you got to understand. Our people, the 2/3, man, they don't take this word seriously enough. All right? Long as they can vape, long as they can go to a comedy show, they okay, man. They going to scorn, they going to delight. they're going to continue to be simple until they pass on, man. But that's why the Lord got to go ahead and do and make the move and allow this damn devil to come with that great wrath, man. All right? Because if not, man, this place will just continue to go on and wax worse and worse. Okay? So let's get one more and we close out. Because this is why they setting up shop. Especially in these Democratic ran states. It reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. See? And what's going to happen? It's going to be a lot of crime then. All right? And they already going to have the provisions, in this case, these National Guards armed to the teeth to put and keep things in check. Okay? And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Right? That trumpet is going to be blown, man. Them troops is coming in your town, your city, your neighborhood. All right? And that's why you're going to have people desiring to leave from these blue states into these red states. But unless you have the proper credentials, you ain't going to be. They already putting in provisions that, hey, homeless people cannot be out here on the streets. So where are you going to sleep at? In your car? You can't sleep in these parking lots. You ain't going to have nowhere to sleep, man. They're herding you into these FEMA camps, these detention centers. All right? You think you're going to find an apartment in the amount of time that's needed with the job to maintain that? And first and last month rent when you fleeing? That's why it says, Yahweh says, pray that your flight does not be in the winter, man. Imagine if all hell breaks loose in the winter and you got to leave a quote-unquote so-called blue state or a Democrat state and try to flee into a red state to leave all that behind, and it's in the wintertime. Okay? Now, sure, Florida may be a little bit more bearable than other places that's ran by red states. But let's say you go to a red state that's known for cold weather, and you trying to flee a blue state to get to a red state, and it's 20, 30 degrees outside, and you just got to sleep in your car. Man, you're gonna get frostbite, okay? So we talking about a time like no other, man. And y'all, we just here to tell you. All right, like I said, we just here so we don't get fined. Like Marshawn Lynch said, we don't want to get fined by the Lord. So we doing what's required of us, all right? We're speaking, we're opening up our mouth. We're telling the people to get right, all right? Because here it is, man. They taking it to the next stage, arming the National Guard with firearms and looking to expand them to other Democratic ran states. Chicago, Baltimore, New York, Oakland. And the list goes on and on, man. All right, so, pray that your flight don't be in the wintertime. Because if you got to leave and the Lord ain't with you and on your side, good luck. All right, let's go ahead and close out 1 Peter 5:8. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Do you really believe he's going to tell you his next move? No, his whole thing is to keep you in the dark, all right? To hide, to stay behind the screen, the smoke screen, all right? Until the last second when he pops out. Then it's too late, all right? Then it's too late. But see, the Lord has set up his servants, the prophets, to give you that warning that, don't go behind that bush over there. There's danger. And Jake still, I got to go see for myself. Bam. Now he's caught. Okay. Now he's caught struggling for his life and feeling it seep away right between his hands. He's no longer alive because why? That devouring lion got him because he don't want to take heed. All right. So you been warned. All right. Things about to get real serious out here. All right. And we going to blow the trumpet, even if it doesn't seem fashionable. Even though it seems repetitively, all right? that's what Jake needs, because why? Jake's hard-headed, okay? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right, and with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.